What's up, everybody? It is me, Lauren Delisa Coleman, back with you again for another episode. We're continuing our Mammoth Film Festival kind of series, and I have another filmmaker with me now for the Inside series right here on film.io. I want to welcome Rodrigo Zanforlin to the show. Rodrigo, what's up? Thanks for joining us and taking out the time.
Oh, thanks for that.
He had a hot film at Mammoth Film Festival. As you guys know, we're kind of, just doing something a little bit different this time, speaking with people just after the festival to kind of get just more vibe around things and just to kind of give a different perspective. So, Rodrigo, please tell the audience the name of the film and a synopsis, and then we can kind of get into it like we always do.
Of course. The name of the film is Up North, and the story is about an ex-professional surfer that gave it up about his career, and he's searched for a new beginning, more meaningful life. And in order to find that, he decides to head up north.
And so this is a documentary.
It's a documentary, and it's a documentary. It's where we basically were shooting the journey of this surfer.
And it's just, if you guys, you get to see it, it is beautifully shot. I think whenever we see, and it's really, much more than, a surf movie or, a documentary about a surfer. Of course, those films are always so beautiful, and you see like the curls and all that. But it's about more, and I think it's really so appropriate for right now because many people are going through kind of what he is, but on their own levels, right? Of just search for meaning of life in a larger context, in like kind of the microcosm of you and so much more. So I just find it, very interesting that you were able to, just kind of bring this to life. How did you kind of come to this story? Did you know him before, or how did it all kind of like
I think that's an interesting thing to talk about it, because like for years I had this idea of I had this idea to talk about more about like someone that was searching for meaning in life. I had this whole concept and idea to explore that. And I want to do something that was fun, was cool, and there was more this immersive idea to go to nature and explore also nature. But I didn't have the character and didn't have the whole story. I just had I had the idea for years. And then one day, I lived in Venice for years. And then one day I was there and I met this guy living in a van, teaching people in a surf school how to surf. And the guy was unbelievable, humble and good. He was an amazing surfer, but very humble dude. And then we started to talk about life. I was also struggling with my own career. This whole journey as a filmmaker, it's a marathon. It's a long journey.
Right.
And then we're like, dude, I have this story, I have this idea about going north and explore this inner journey of the character when he goes with this inward journey. And he, the idea of the whole film is to explore that, but also have some fun moments with surfing. And he was like, dude, I'm exactly, living that right now. I used to be a professional surfer in Portugal. I was running the whole championship, and there's I'm 28 years old right now, and I'm getting old, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'm kind of trying to figure out the next step, and I think I'm looking out and searching for meaning. So it totally resonated with me. And that's when we start to talk more about the idea of going north. Years before, I tried to find different surfers. Nobody want to go north and surf by themselves because of the sharks and because the gigantic big waves, kind of dark water. But Joackim, who is a guy that was always surfing Norway and always surfing Portugal, he was like, no, dude, I'm down. I'm gonna go, and I also want to go to this journey that I can explore more myself too. So I'm totally down to go with you guys. So that's when we kind of and we decided, okay, I think it's perfect time to go. At the same time, I think it's interesting to mention that we had won awards with Red Cine Camera. So they provide us 2 cameras to go and make anything we want for 3 weeks.
Wow, so cool.
We basically combined 2 things there. We met Joackim at the same time that I had this award, and the opportunity to have those two cameras available to go and make this film. So in the end, I was me, the director, also cinematographer, and Leko Moura, there was my cinematographer with me. So we had two cameras, two guys. We had one more assistant with us, and Joaquim was just four guys on the road making a film. And I didn't have a screenplay. That was the first time. I'm a guy that, my whole background is like narratives. So I always write screenplays, and I have this like very structured kind of like, idea before I start shooting. But this time I want to be more vulnerable. My idea was like, no, I don't want to, have this whole control. I want to find the story. I want to be open for that. I want to be open for the journey here. And I also want to know, what is that meaning that we are searching? What is that? Is there any meaning there? So that's basically was kind of like a road trip when I started to write the whole idea of the film. And I was writing as we start to go north. And that's what I can share with you guys. It was such a journey.
Wow.
And
it's just so amazing. I have a million questions. I guess first maybe more on the technical level. You said that you had always focused on narrative before.
Yeah.
How did you kind of make that leap? Was it more? It sounds like it was something that was maybe more personal. Like you just kind of decided to approach life your own way. Or rather your path in the same way, maybe parallel, right, to the subject of the documentary. So you were opening up and kind of changing and deciding. But like in your mind, I'm sure there's still like a little bit of tug of war, right? Because if you are somebody who I'm kind of sounds like we're the same, like type A, like it has to be like this, and this, or else you feel like you don't have as much control. To let go is very challenging. How did you kind of do that, I guess, in a more professional manner? Because it's one thing to say it and we can all meditate and all that, but when the rubber meets the road and you have to like actually shoot, right? What was that like for you? I'm just really curious.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point. Look, I always like to have control. So I'm a guy, but that's exactly,
even though we don't really, even though it's an illusion,
exactly.
But if you just feel like it, it's like a better thing.
Exactly. But at this time, I want to like explore also me as an artist and say like, how can I improvise things? Let's see if I can be creative on the road. And also like, it's just a different path. And I think the big message here that I have like, in my mind constantly was like, when you make a narrative, you have to raise the money for the film. There's this whole process. Sometimes it takes years. Right now I'm raising money for my next feature film. And look, it's 4 years like that I have been like, between like writing, develop the story, casting, working, producing, pre-producing. It's a long journey. We all know that. But this time I was like, no, I just want to grab the camera and shoot. I don't want to be waiting for anything. And I think that's when documentary is a good idea. Like documentary is an opportunity to grab the camera and shoot. But I didn't want to make something that was a surf film. Also, like just kind of like this music video when there is no story, there is no journey. You're just like watching cool images and good music. My idea is like, no, there's a story here. We want to tell something. There is a journey of a guy. There's a journey of a character, and we want to go deep dive in that story. And the beginning, I had just a structure. I had this idea. Okay, we have the conflict is that's the character, and I want to have these, that. And so I start to develop these like bullet points so my character would have an arc,
right?
Not just a flat character, just that we didn't know where we're gonna end up in the story. No, I had the sense of direction. I had a north. I was like, okay, I want to achieve that, but I don't know what's going to happen between that.
Got it. So it sounds like you had a general outline, which helped kind of bridge the gap between the old Rodrigo and the new Rodrigo, right?
Totally. So it was that. Yeah, exactly. And it was also about, exploring myself, a little bit more about myself too. So it's definitely something cool because I think me, Leko, and Joaquim, we all resonate with that kind of character, with that kind of story. We're all struggling with the same kind of, issues. And I think that's why even like we met, we end up together in this film.
Right. I think that's just really fascinating. From the subject's point of view, though, I mean, because like you said, this isn't a traditional like surf film and it just looks really cool. This is somebody who's on a real spiritual, if you will, journey. Yeah. Typically when we do this, we don't have, cameras. So was that hard for him? Like, did he have to kind of, create some different types of resolutions in his mind where he could kind of distance himself from the cameras and still explore these things in nature as if they weren't there? Like, how hard or easy was that to kind of pull off from both your points of view?
I think the good thing there that we can talk about is like we had a lot of bounce ideas. We were constantly talking about it, and I was also like, thinking him as an actor too. So we are like kind of like, talk about scenes. So it was a documentary, but we had a sense of like direction. I was like, okay, we have a scene here. We want to play this. This is like going to help us to tell this story. And he was totally down. He was like, no, I want to do it. I'm also want to be able to work with you guys. So it was a lot of like bounce ideas and conversations during the period we were filming and making this film. And I think that helped a lot for sure. And he's also an open heart guy, so he was always humble and open to learn and to try something. And I think that's definitely helped us too. He's just the right guy for the right mission,
That's for sure. You definitely get that sense as you're watching this. Tell me a little bit about how you came to filmmaking. You'd said already that primarily you've worked in the narrative space before. And what's the vibe like there for the filmmaking community?
Oh, so yeah, I worked 10 years as I had a digital marketing agency back in Brazil for 10 years. I sold my company, gave it up about everything, and I moved to LA to try also to find myself in a way. I didn't know what to do, what I'm gonna do. So then I ended up living with a cinematographer. When I saw myself, I was like, okay, I have this, like, I'm sharing this like apartment with a cinematographer, and
by chance?
Just by chance. It's crazy. And I always like wrote like poems and poetry, and I was like, constantly writing, and that was my thing. And then the cinematographer was constantly asking me for ideas. And then I was like, one day I had this like poem he just read, and he was like, dude, I want to film that. And that's how everything started. We filmed that. The film did so well.
And wait, how long ago was this?
This was 2014.
Okay, not long.
And not long. And then that film did so well. Then I ended up doing my master's degree in Los Angeles. I took the whole path of university. And then with my short film, that was my last film in the university. That film was very successful. I went to 44 festivals. I was an Oscar qualified film. We almost ended up in the Oscars. And then opened like a whole opportunity for me. That's when I won the award from RED. Different companies from California start to work with me. They want to make documentaries, make films. I start to do brand content. So that whole opportunity the window of opportunity start to open for me more. But especially after that film.
So cool. So what do you think though, being there, I think the difference, between Brazil and LA, I mean, obviously the vibe is different. What's kind of your experience like there with the film community? Because I think everybody, just assumes that it's just a huge population of filmmakers and everybody's supportive and everything. I always just like to see what is like each individual's experience like. Do you find that it is, supportive? Are you more kind of on your own? What's your personal approach to things there in terms of just filmmaking community or not?
Yeah, I had more support here than I had in Brazil, to be really honest. Brazil is super challenging. We don't have an industry in Brazil. So very often you have to raise money with the government, and it's a totally different path and process. And then very often we don't have to make the money back with the films. And so it becomes a lot of like personal films in Brazil. That's what we see. It's super cool. And we have some amazing things going on there. But here it's just different. Like then here you have a process, you have an industry, you have way more like this professional approach since the concept of the film until you're gonna sell and go into distributors. So this whole process, I think here is way more professional, and I kind of like that. And I also like the structure that the industry has here in a way, because I think allows me to have more opportunity when it's like that. I had a lot of support here. I can't complain about it. In the beginning, my English was not that good. People were very supportive with me. My accent, when they were not able to get what I was trying to say, all the actors that was working with me, they're always down to, help me with the lines and create new things. So I can definitely complain. I'm just like grateful for the whole opportunity that I got in LA, to be really honest.
That's so great. I mean, I was just asking because I interviewed several filmmakers from Brazil during Sundance Film Festival. And so, as you said, and as everybody knows, there's not really an industry there. But I was just so kind of hit by how when a film is created, how so many people come together to do it who are not professional and are able to pull this off. Really beautiful work. And like, somebody's mom is like the caterer, and this person or that person is going to do makeup, or they have like friends who are full on recording artists there at the top of their game who will be in the movie to support. Do you know what I mean? I just feel that it is a different approach because there is no industry there, versus in LA there's still support obviously everywhere. It's just a different form, and I just think it's very, very interesting to just kind of track it around the world and see how people, I don't know, just develop community around just the filmmaking process. But so talk to me a little bit about Mammoth. So was this something that you had your eye on before? Like, how'd you kind of, decide to submit the film there, and, we're just part of the whole festival this year?
I saw actually, when I was running with my short film Jimbo all over the place, that was the first time I saw Mammoth. I didn't submit to Mammoth, but I saw the festival. And then I saw a couple of friends going there with different films, and everybody told me like, this is a cool festival, but this is a festival you want to be part of. It's fun.
Yeah.
People are
it has
cool.
A different vibe, right?
Definitely a different vibe. To be really honest, I've been so many festivals, but this one is by far one of my favorites. It's just because of the whole, community there. People are so open, and they all want to know you, want to know your films. Good filmmakers, good films too. So very supportive. So I like.
How do you feel that it differs, since you have so much experience? I mean, 44 festivals is not a joke, especially at this stage in your career. How do you feel, or why do you feel Mammoth is kind of like a standout for you?
Just the community there, I feel, it's just like there is this.
But every film has a community. Every film festival has a particular community. What do you think makes?
I didn't feel
special?
that with every single film festival, to be honest. There are film festivals that I went to were just so big, they're so large that like you don't have that sense of like having a community. It's just spread out, and it's just too many people. And I know that's hard when it's a big festival. And then if it's a short film, your film sometimes doesn't have that attention that you want to have it. But with the Mammoth, it's just because the size. I think the mountain vibe of that place, and because it's cold, so everybody's kind of like in this place together. So I think it's just that there is just this different vibe. Especially, I think it's also the people behind Mammoth. They are so supportive. They want to help you. They want to make people to watch your film. They talk about your film. They really like your film. That's why your film is there. So I think that was different. I can only share that the experience for me was very unique. And I also was able to meet amazing filmmakers and people that were really fun to watch their films. Very supportive people too. So maybe it was just this year. I don't know, but it was really.
No, I think it really kind of has that vibe. It's relatively new. And I do actually believe that every festival has a community or spirit around it. Communities don't have to be close, huh? Venice is a very sophisticated community that has, little circles within it, and, others are functioning in different ways, but there's always a vibe. It's like a little mini city or something that comes together and then, disperses. And I kind of feel like what you said, because of where it is in the mountains, and it's just kind of like a smaller, even more intimate, like a Sundance, because of it's also in a snowy area, but edgier and younger, right? Like if you could take like that sub kind of demo of Sundance and put it in Mammoth, that's the vibe like that I kind of get. The spirit even of the films and everything. It's just like, this is who's going to be like next. Everybody has like a kind of edge. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. That was well said. I think you were right.
Well, thanks.
That was perfect. Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's exactly the way I felt.
So I'm glad that you could go. So what's going to be next for you? I'm like, if you've done all this at this stage in your career, Rodrigo, like look out. Like what is going to be going down for like 22, 23?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So yeah, we're gonna release like up north, and we are like in the path to finish the whole path of like film festivals in 6 months basically, and then the whole idea is to sell the movie. And I'm shooting a feature film in Brazil right now in 2 months. So I'm heading back to Brazil. We're gonna shoot this in a small town, southern part of Brazil. Okay. So I'm gonna be there for like 45 days shooting this one. And I'm also
have a caipirinha for me if you do.
Thank you. I will, of course.
Good.
And then I'm coming back to US because I'm raising the money for a feature here.
Right.
Yeah, it's a dark kind of thriller movie, and I'm coming back for narratives for now. And I hope you can raise the money and shoot this one by the end of this year because I'm right in the end of the process right now with that one. So I'm super exciting. I'm super excited
Good
if
for
I can
you.
make
I'm
it
just so glad
this
you have
year.
like so many things going. It's just great to see people creating and doing their thing and being recognized. Rodrigo, if people want to stay up on everything that you're doing, how can they do that? Like via website, social? What's the best way?
I think the best way is my Instagram, and also they can look my website. But I think my Instagram is just like I'm every day there.
Okay,
Uh,
what is it?
at Rod Roddzzan Rodzan.
Okay.
So there you can find all my info. You're gonna see all my new films. I'm gonna show a little bit about things that I'm doing right now. So if you want to follow my work, I think that's a good place to be.
So great. Anything else you want to add before we finish?
No, I did. I just want to say thank you for you guys. Thank you for Mammoth. I think my experience was amazing. I hope people can watch this movie. I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people, especially with my generation right now, the whole
Yeah.
struggle, to try to figure out like a path, a way, to live and to have fun in life and enjoy your life. And, also knowing that sometimes you have to, change your path and go for different ways. And there's no problem if you do that. That's just the way it is. And find excitement when you do that. And that's, I think, pretty much all I want to give to you guys today.
I think that that's a great place to end, and I wish you so much success with this film and others. You guys, again, the film is called Up North. Definitely look for it. And I'm just excited to really speak to, like I said, you guys know I love all my filmmakers at all my film festivals, but this one does have like a really special kind of vibe. So I'm excited to bring you the very next one. Don't forget to click and, just keep watching them as we bring them to you during this Inside series here at film.io. I am Lauren DeLisa Coleman. Thanks so much for watching.